Hey guys, this is your host Eric. Today we are going to watch drama genre movie called Nice View. Spoilers ahead, turn on your subtitle, I greatly appreciate your support. Enjoy the video. The story starts with a man named Jing. He is the older brother of a 6-year-old girl named Jing Tong. Every day, they live alone in this house they rent. On that day, he had to take care of Jing Tong and drive her to school. After taking his sick sister Jing to the hospital, Hao went to see the doctor who treated her illness. People say that when Jing Tong was 6 years old, she had a problem with her heart that made it hard for her to breathe when the air pressure was high. Jay's disease is passed down from parent to child. When Jing Tong was young, their mother was also hospitalized with the same illness and later died from it. At the time, Jing Hao was still in his teens. But he had to be the family's backbone and fight for Jing Tong because his father preferred to leave them. The doctor said that Jing Tong's condition could get worse when she was 8 years old. So, the doctor told Jing Hao to operate as soon as possible on his sister. In fact, Jing Hao really wanted to have surgery done on his sister, but he didn't have enough money. Aside from that, Jing Hao's only job is to open a cell phone repair shop every day, which doesn't bring in much money by the end of the day. Jing friend Hao's Ji Young calls him. Ji Young works in a warehouse. On reason Ung calls Jing Hao is to show him a mountain of unused cell piles. According to Ung, all of the cell phones were left by an import-export businessman who is in jail because he owes warehouse rent for 2 years. The items were taken away by both Ung and the warehouse workers, and the plan was for the warehouse to be closed soon. So Young tells Jing for 100,000 yen how to get all the phones. Ung was sure that Jing House would be able to fix this phone and sell it again, so that Jing Hao could sell them and make money. When he got home, Jing Hao checked the cell phone's quality test file right away. On average, the phone didn't pass the quality test. Jing Hao also tries to fix one of the phones. He has been fixing broken cell phones for years and has the right tools and skills to get the phone to work. Again, when he realized he could use all of the phones, he decided right away to buy them all. Jing Hao asked for a loan by putting up the whole shop as collateral. The next morning, he went to the electronic sales center to sell his product. While he was selling it, he figured out how much money he would make after figuring out that he would make an estimated 900,000 yen. The amount is huge and would be more than enough to pay for an operation on his sister. He will also be able to raise his living standard and grow his business in the future. But 2 weeks later, the government came out with a new trade policy that says cell phones can't be recycled in the future. Cell phones that have already been sold will be taken away, and the person who sold them will be arrested. The policy hurt Jing Hao, who was about to start his own business, of course. Jing Hao could only sell a few cell phones, while other warehouses are still getting full. Then, Jing Hao goes to the headquarters of the cell phone company he bought, Shining Electronics. There, he meets a manager named Liping. Jing Hao tells Liping that he can sell the cell phone parts that he found on the market. Jing says that this business will become an industrial chain because there is a big market for it on the international market. But Liping said no because he thought the spare parts offered by Jing, the guy who fixes cell phones, wouldn't pass the quality control test. Jing was sure that the parts would pass the test, and Ping took Jing at his word. How's it going? After that day, he worked hard every day, starting with taking apart the biggest parts and going all the way down to the smallest ones. Of course, it wasn't easy, but he worked hard and didn't give up, and he was able to finish everything, including a guidebook that he wrote himself. There were also quality tests, and the parts that Jing Hao made passed the quality test. The first step was taken and done well. He then went right to see Liping, who was greeting the managing director of Shining Electronics, a man named Mr. Jing Hao. Liping sees that the parts have passed the test and remembers that they agreed to buy the parts from Jing Hao yesterday if he passed the test. Liping, though, said that he never said that. He also tells Jing Hao to stop bothering Liping, who doesn't believe Jing Hao. Because he is still only 20, he is not giving up. How to say waited for Mr. Ju, gave him the same offer, and asked for 10 minutes to explain it to him because he was in a hurry to get on the carriage. Jing didn't get any heat. Don't just give up. Jing Hao decided to ride his motorbike to catch the train. Jing Hao got there just in time and asked Mr. Ju again for 10 minutes. Mr. Ju says that Jing Hao won't be able to save all the parts of the phone after hearing his presentation. Jing Hao, would Mr. Ju buy it if he could do it? Ju agrees, but he won't pay ahead of time. He told Jing Hao to take care of the dismantling himself, and even Ju wouldn't send factories or workers if the parts didn't work. How good something is. Ju also wouldn't give any money, and it didn't matter to him how much Jing Hao spent. Then, Ju told Jing Hao to get in touch with Liping when he was ready. This deal is, of course, very risky. If it works, he will be a millionaire, but if it doesn't, he will be broke for a few days. He couldn't pay his bills. All of Jing Hao's business places had to be taken away from him. The only motorcycle had to be sold to get some extra cash. Next, he goes to get a side job with his friend Ma Yua. After Jing begs Ma Yua, he agrees to let him work as a window cleaner in a tall building. The next day, Jing Hao and Liang went to look for a place to put their factory. They found a dirty container. Li Yang and Jing Hao both agreed to a monthly rent of 3,000 yen. They set up the factory so that it could be used to make things. Targets were made. The raw materials have also been moved to a new warehouse. But there is only one more worker because they can't pay them a standard wage. The staffing agency says to look for people who have. He brought up a few names. The first is Kan Moy. She used to work in an electronics factory. But after an accident, she lost her hearing and is now doing odd jobs to pay for Kan Moy's education. Jing Hao couldn't help but scream. Zhang is the second. He used to be a manager, but he went to prison for beating someone. Zhang was a bit strange, but Jing was patient with him. What did the next thing teach Zhang? Hanxi was the name of a man. He plays every day of his life, but he has changed his mind and wants to get a job because he wants to get married. He also asks Jing what he should do with his friend Cho. On the other hand, Liang brought some people from the nursing home who, he said, wanted to show Jing how their work experience can still be useful even though they are old. In short, the electronic components factory, which is called Nice View, will keep running as planned with the help of these workers. Jing Hao has to work during the day as a skyscraper glass cleaner to make extra money. Still, Jing Tong's health hasn't gotten better, and he still has to take the same medicine every day. Jing Hao could only try to make his sister feel better so she wouldn't be sad. Then, one afternoon, Jing Hao and Liang went to a man who offered to sell Jing Hao his cell phone. They could later sell the metal made from the phone's parts. It was against the law, so Jing Hao had to say no. A few weeks later, Se also married the woman he looked up to. Even Jing, who didn't work at the factory, went to his wedding. Hao is someone who was at the wedding party trusted to give a speech. Jean, on the other hand, is kicked out of the house he rented and has to pay back rent for 3 months. That night, they had nowhere to go. Jing Hao had to ask Leon's wife for help so that Jing Tong could stay with them the next night. Jing Hao decides to bring his sister to the factory to live with him. A pile of cardboard boxes was all that was used to make the room and keep it warm. This was the hardest thing for Jing to go through, having to see his 6-year-old sister sleeping in the wrong place. But because things were so bad, he had to be willing to let his sister sleep in the factory. Seeing how his younger sister was doing, he did so. Jing Hao didn't want to give up on the situation, because what he really wanted at this time to make him happy was to see his sick sister get better. So, Jing Hao worked and worked all day. He cleans glasses for a living and is willing to stay up late at night to work on the missing production. Jing, the trouble did not end there. The owner of the factory had to call him one day because he owed rent for 2 months. Jing asked for a break because he was having a hard time, but the landlord didn't care and asked Jing how he was going to pay back the rent. One day, it was storming and raining hard. In the car, Jing Hao tried to stop Lip Ping's car. Jing Hao begs Liping to lend him 100,000 yen because he is in a lot of trouble, but Liping wouldn't give in. He said that Mr. Ju made a deal with him because he respected Jing Hao, but if Ju sees you now, will he still show respect? Living said that when he heard what Jing said, he thought there was something to it because when he was in trouble, he had to work on his own to get the job done. How is Jing? Didn't really know what to do. He only remembers that his mother asked him to take good care of Jing Tong before she died. The next morning, he had to see again how the storm from the night before had caused the roof to cave in where he had put his cell phone. Also, the landlord told Jing Hao that he had to move out of the factory within 3 days because it would be rented to someone else. The heart of Jing House was broken. He also had to tell all of his friends the bad news, even though the goods would be delivered in 2 weeks, but he could no longer pay their salaries. Unexpectedly, after the work was done, his friends were willing to pay them their wages. They also said that they could take this work home and ask their friends to help them get it done by the deadline. They told Jing how to handle this problem with other people since they had already thought about Jing Hao. Then, since they were family, they did the work from their own homes. Hao, Jing, and Jing live and work at the nursing home for a short time. One night, Jing Tong wakes up and thanks her brother for all the hard work he did to take care of her. It was time for delivery. The parts they have taken apart are finally sent to be tested for quality. Time went by, and to make a long story short, Jing Hao and his friends were asked to meet with Mr. Ju at the Shining Electronics office. First of all, Mr. Ju really likes how hard Jing worked to finish the order on time. Then he said, not only if their parts pass the quality test with a quality level of 87%, Mr. Zhou will also keep working with Jing on a project worth 5 million yen that will last for 2 years. Jing Hao had been waiting a long time for the sacrifice she had made to pay off. We really appreciate you watching. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell because it is really important for us. Thank you.